G'day folks, Scott here. Today I'm reviewing A Quiet Place. This movie stars and is directed by John Krasinski. Now you may know him as Jim from the American version of The Office. The only other thing I've really ever seen him in was that Michael Bay movie about the army dudes who got stuck in some base somewhere called 13 Hours or something. He was okay in that, but I'm not a Michael Bay fan. But I was genuinely surprised when I heard about this movie. I got to go see it last night at an advanced preview screening. It launches next week on the 6th of April, I think, in America, and then the week after on the 12th of April in Australia. So it was cool to see it early. I'm going to make this 100% spoiler-free. I didn't know see the trailers, I didn't know anything about it. I heard a lot of hype. There is a lot of hype about this movie. And before I get anywhere, I guess I want to address that. A big problem with the film community right now with your hardcore fans would be that the horror community suffers a similar issue as the, say, Star Wars community, where its hardcore fans expect too much. You get a movie like this come along that gets a lot of hype from the film circuit and the competition circuit like Sundance and all these kind of things. It starts getting words thrown around like best horror movie in years, genre defining, fantastic, 10 out of 10, all these kind of things. People build up a level of expectation that the movie simply cannot meet when it comes out. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It's really, really good, but it's not going to change your life. It's not the best horror movie you've ever seen. In fact, it really does float that bridge in between thriller and horror. It's not a flat-out horror movie. It's not gory. It's not really full-on for those things. So if you're a die-hard horror movie fan who likes splatter and gore and all that kind of stuff, this isn't the movie for you. If I had to compare this to something, and I would say it reminds me a lot of last year's movie, which was called It Comes at Night. It reminded me a lot of that, and it also reminded me of the early M. Night movie Signs, which is probably one of the last good movies he made. It's not a rip-off of either of those two movies, but tonally it reminded me of them, and that's about my point of comparison. So, if you don't like those kind of two movies that I mentioned, then you really want to reel back the expectations on this one. Now, I watched the trailers when I got home yesterday. I'm not putting any trailer footage in this thing. I'm going to keep it as short as I can because I just want you to go see it. The trailers didn't give away too much, but they gave away more than I would have liked to have known. At the very most basic level, this movie is about a time where something has happened on Earth. You don't exactly know what, but this movie begins 89 days after the event and goes through from there. It doesn't do a bunch of traditional Hollywood things with narration and exposition and telling you every little thing that happened in the lead up to this. The clues you're given about what's happening in this world are given through newspaper clippings that give you relevant bits of information you need to know. All you need to know is that this is sometime 89 days after something has happened. There's something going on where if you make an excessive amount of noise or any loud noise whatsoever, something is going to hunt you and kill you. And that's all I want to tell you. The people in this movie have to work through sign language and treading very carefully on things, marking noisy floorboards, walking in safe spots, thinking very, very carefully about what they do in each and every given minute so they don't cause themselves any problems. And that in itself is a fantastic premise. There were whole parts of this movie where it was completely and utterly silent and devoid of any sound effect or music at all, and I applaud it for doing something I've not seen before. The actors were great. John Krasinski was great. Emily Blunt was great, and the kid actors in it were also fantastic. It's a small cast, it's not a huge sprawling environment, it's all set around one primary location, and I love the fact that, like that It Comes at Night movie, it just begins and ends without giving you the overall picture, just like Signs, everything that happened in Signs, although you heard what was going on in the outside world to a little degree, you really focused on what happened to that family in that farmhouse. And this follows a similar path to that. I really enjoyed it. I don't want to overhype it. I saw it with a pretty big crowd. They were mostly silent, I think, through the tension on it. There were no jump scares, which I applaud it for. It didn't follow those traditional modern horror tropes, which I applaud it for. It had an old worldly school of thought around it, like thoughtfully placed cameras, very well directed, very good use of sound, very good actors, good writing, great music. Marco Beltrame, I think is his name, did them. Very cool music. Yeah, it was good. But I'm not putting footage in this review and anything. I just want you to go see it. Because movies like this deserve cinema attendance, so the studios see that sequels and remakes are not the path to making quality horror or thriller content. So that's all I've got. I don't want to tell you too much. Go and see it when it comes out. Take your friends, enjoy it, and I'll be back real soon to review something else. I'm not sure what comes out next. I think I might even have to wait till the Avengers. I might have to find some retro stuff to review. As always, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.